Right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Welcome to my session on being your own security champion. So my name is Colin Domoney. I'm an API security research specialist and developer advocate at 42Crunch. What I'm mainly going to cover in this session is the fact that we need developers who are capable of developing secure software. Security is becoming increasingly important in modern application development. We simply don't have enough people who have security skills. Security champions have become very popular. A lot of organizations are empowering developers to take responsibility and ownership of security initiatives in the organization. And what I'm going to do in this very quick talk is just give you as an individual developer developing APIs, give you a insight into quick things, quick wins, things that you can do quickly to bring yourself up to speed with becoming your very own security champion. Right. So why do we need security champions? The attack surface. API developers, we know that we're developing more APIs than ever. We're exposing new APIs to the public internet. We're being pushed to add new business functionality. Unfortunately, we also know that we've got increasingly sophisticated and capable attackers. But the offensive tools have now been commoditized. Anybody can download Kali Linux and go onto YouTube and get tutorials on how to hack things, particularly APIs, so prime target. Right, so it's very easy for people to attack your APIs. And then the real problem is that shortage of skills. We lack qualified security people, but specifically we lack security people who understand how software development works. Typically, your security teams are responsible for networks, for infrastructure, for vulnerability management, and a whole host of things. What they don't necessarily know is exactly how container technology or Kubernetes or how an API endpoint works. Right. So the challenge there is that those security professionals who are already in short supply don't have exactly that right set of skills. Okay, so we've got a bit of a problem here. We've got more applications, more APIs, more endpoints. We've got clever people attacking it, and we've got a shortage of defenders. Right, Werner Vogels from AWS, I think, puts this quite nicely. Security is everybody's responsibility. That's somewhat of it's become a cliche, but I think it's valid. Everybody contributes their piece to the security puzzle, right? So it's whether it's somebody doing vulnerability management or doing patch management on the hosting infrastructure, to somebody configuring your cloud infrastructure, or indeed to somebody writing your APIs. Right? Everybody takes ownership of that responsibility. It's no longer I think acceptable that you're going to throw something over the fence and expect that somewhere down the line somebody's going to be looking after that security of that piece of software. So really it's about that ownership. What I like doing, I've been doing security, I've been doing development for a couple of decades, and one thing that I've seen with my code, with code that I've developed, the problem is code always lasts longer than you anticipate. The other challenge is that your code is often used by people who are more talented than you are. They're more persistent, right? So you've got this problem where you're developing software. It lasts longer than you ever imagined. It gets reused. It gets repurposed. People copy paste a bit of your code, and suddenly your code is now publicly exposed, right? So as an individual developer, you need to take that responsibility. You need to refuse to allow your software code that you're developing to become a vulnerability or weakness. This is the Rugged Manifesto. It's worth reading. There's a link to that if you pop that in Google. You can go and get a link to the Rugged Manifesto. It's well worth a read. It's something that I've kind of adhered to over the time that I've been a developer, and it's about that individual ownership. Making sure that whatever you develop is rugged and secure. So, what's in it for me? Why, as a developer, would I want to do this? So, there's a couple of reasons in ascending order. I think firstly, you're going to produce better code. More secure code is generally better code. There's less chance of reworks. You're going to have less bug reports. There's a number of benefits to being able to develop that better code. And then from a purely selfish point of view, you're learning new skills and you're becoming more marketable, right? So there's a lot of reasons, personal reasons, that you would want to beef up on your security. You need to understand your enemy. In my experience working with developers, one of the main challenges is they don't always understand how their software is being attacked. So understand, threat model your application, build a threat model, work out your input output vectors, have a look at your APIs. What data does this contain? Who's attacking that? Where are these things being exposed? Have a go at hacking your own APIs. Red team this, do war games. Try and exploit your own code, and you'll probably be surprised. Most developers are, if they've never done anything with security, they're normally surprised at quite how easy it is sometimes to exploit their own applications. Right, security team. I kind of straddle this line between security and development. The number one takeaway I'd give a developer is go and talk to your security team. Right, they're probably going to be very grateful to have developers coming and talking to them and wanting to know how they can help. Right, the security team doesn't have time to go and choose all the right tools and work with your CI/CD pipeline. They just don't have the time. They don't have the skill set to do that. Take that initiative, go and get that done, and then go to the security team and say, right, here's what we're doing. Is that okay? And in most cases, you're going to have the security team going to come back and say, yes, we'll accept that. So the division of responsibilities here, let you make the decision on the tools you're going to use and how you're going to use them, deploy them, configure them, and then let that security team kind of sit over that process and kind of govern it. Let them do the reporting, let them do the KPIs, let them talk to the risk people, let them talk to the governance people. You get on producing code. You make sure you're making it as secure as you can, and let that security team kind of manage those higher level KPIs and performance and monitoring goals. Right, there's some super quick wins, things that you as an individual developer can do right now. You could literally go onto the internet, go and grab all of those tools, get them plugged into your VS Code or whatever development environment you're using. You could come up to speed. You could scan all your libraries for vulnerabilities using, GitHub's Dependabot. You could run SonarQube code quality to look if you've got any gotchas in your code. 42Crunch offer a community edition of their code audit platform where you can go and audit your open API specifications. You can look for incomplete data validation. You can look for security gaps. You can look for security holes. These things are all free. There's really no reason why you wouldn't go and use these. Right, so get these things plugged in. These are the things you can do. They're not going to cost much, and they're also not going to take a huge deal of effort. And as you go down this journey, be prepared to share this journey. Right, capture that knowledge. Write up your learnings. Write up your findings. Write up internal wikis or your own document system. What you've learned, to capture that knowledge, and then share your successes. Right, try and co-opt. If you start your own a process of your own journey, share that with your colleagues. Build up that security community inside your development teams and inside your organization. Selected readings. I mean, there's a load of this. About a decade ago, when I started doing this, there wasn't a great deal of literature. Coming over from the left to the right, the Web Application Hackers Handbook is one of the sort of gold standards. A little dated now. Securing DevOps is pretty much all around CI/CD and process. Agile application security is just a really good broad read on business application security. And then if you want to go into the nuts and bolts, a really well written book on the ins and outs of kind of the OWASP top 10 API top 10 issues in the Tango, and that's quite technical, quite detailed, and it's a really good read. And then things that you can do right now, OWASP, the volunteer organization, you can go and join them. They're always looking for people. They're always looking for newbies who want to come along and learn. Over at apisecurity.io, I curate the apisecurity.io mailing list, which is it's a weekly mailing list, everything about API security across the industry. We've also run a great API security encyclopedia. And the 42Crunch CTO and co-founder, Isabel Mani, is speaking. I think it's a session tomorrow. She's going to go into the inside details of the OWASP API security top 10 and how you can protect and prevent issues on that. Thank you for your time in the presentation. I'm going to have a look if there are any questions, if we've got a second to take a question or two. I don't see any questions at this stage. So if people do have a question, or come and find me on Twitter. Right, thank you very much.